Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Current Chapter. My name is Dani, and today I'm going to tell you the books I'm going to read for the reading rush. So let's talk about books. The Reading Rush, previously known as the Booktubeathon, is a readathon hosted by Ariel and Raylene. I'm going to leave all the details in the description, so check those links out. And it's a readathon that happens from July 22nd, which is next Monday, until July 28th, which is a Sunday. There are 7 challenges to complete. You don't have to read 7 books. I'm not going to try to read 7 books because it's too much. But you can read 1 book to feed multiple challenges, and that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm also going to leave in the description a video that Lala from Books and Lala made with recommendations for the Reading Rush, because I got 2 of my books from her recommendations, so I really recommend that if you don't know also what to read. I picked 2 really short books to feed some of the prompts, so check that if you're also struggling to find books to read. The first challenge is to read a book with purple on the cover, and that's one that I picked from her recommendations. And for that, I'm going to read Dear Joelle, or A Feminist Manifesto and 15 Suggestions by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. That's a very short book. That was one of Lala's suggestions, and I'm really excited to read that. I've heard awesome things about it, and it's a feminist manifesto. There's not a lot to say about it. The second challenge is to read a book on the same spot the entire time. So every time you pick that book up, you have to read it in the same spot until the book's over. And for this prompt, I'm probably going to read one of these short books that I got because I'm going to read it in one sitting. So I think it's going to be easy. The third challenge is to read a book you were meant to read last year. And I'm going to go back to that in the end because it's a book that I'm not going to finish. You're gonna see why. Challenge number 4 is to read an author's first book. And for that, I picked Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. According to Wikipedia, it is her first novel. She wrote journals before that. I'm considering this one as her first book. So I'm going to read Frankenstein. Next challenge is to read a book with a non-human main character, which I guess Frankenstein could also count for that. But I'm going to read Wenjack by Joseph Boyden. It was also a suggestion that I found in Lala's video. I don't know much about it. It's also a very short book, and it's told in the perspective of a bunch of animals. And from what I could tell, it's a lot about Canadian history, so I'm interested in seeing what I'm going to learn there. Challenge number 6 is to pick a book that has 5 or more words in the title. And that's also going to be Dear Joelle, because it's a very long title. The 7th challenge is to read a book and watch the movie adaptation of the book. And I'm probably going to read Mockingjay. I have the audiobook on hold on my library. And I'm probably going to finish Catching Fire this week. So I can read Mockingjay next week for the readathon, and I can watch at least one of the Mockingjay movies for that. And a bonus challenge is to read 7 books. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that, but I could add extra books on the CBR if I can. However, the book that I was supposed to read last year that I'm going to add here is House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. I'm not going to read this whole book. I already started it. I'm here. I'm excited to read it, but I started it and I stopped because it's the most boring book I've ever read. So I want to know what's going to happen. I want to know what the hype is all about, but it's hard to read this book. So I'm going to take the opportunity to use the readathon to read a little bit more of it when I finish all the other books that I mentioned. If it's still I can't get into it any more than I have, I'm just going to give up and pick something more fun to read. And that's it. Those are the books that I'm going to read for the Reading Rush. Let me know if you're participating, what books you're going to read, what's your TBR, if you have any other recommendations that I could fit in this prompt, if I can read all these books and I still have time to read more, if I'm not reading House of Leaves. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more content from me in the future. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye!